It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Whosoever is delighted in solitude is either a wild beast or a god. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. Love is composed of a single soul, inhabiting two bodies. Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. Anybody can become angry, that is easy, but to be angry with the right person, and to the right degree, and at the right time, and for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power, and is not easy. Well begun is half done. The worst form of inequality is to try to make unequal things equal. You will never do anything in this world without courage. It is the greatest quality of the mind next to honor. Those that know, do. Those that understand, teach. We make war that we may live in peace. Republics decline into democracies, and democracies degenerate into despotisms. The end of labor is to gain leisure. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living from the dead. Good habits formed at youth make all the difference. The ideal man bears the accidents of life with dignity and grace, making the best of circumstances. Personal beauty is a greater recommendation than any letter of reference. The ultimate value of life depends upon awareness and the power of contemplation, rather than upon mere survival. Those who educate children well are more to be honored than they who produce them, for these only gave them life, those the art of living well. The most perfect political community is one in which the middle class is in control and outnumbers both of the other classes. Change in all things is sweet. We become just by performing just action, temperate by performing temperate actions, brave by performing brave action. Fear is pain arising from the anticipation of evil. The whole is more than the sum of its parts. Dignity does not consist in possessing honors, but in deserving them. My best friend is the man who, in wishing me well, wishes it for my sake. Education is the best provision for old age. For one swallow does not make a summer, nor does one day, and so too one day, or a short time, does not make a man blessed and happy. I have gained this from philosophy, that I do without being commanded what others do, only from fear of the law. Quality is not an act, it is a habit. There is no great genius without some touch of madness. A friend to all is a friend to none. Happiness depends upon ourselves. In all things of nature there is something of the marvelous. At his best, man is the noblest of all animals, separated from law and justice, he is the worst. The law is reason, free from passion. What it lies in our power to do, it lies in our power not to do. I count him braver who overcomes his desires than him who conquers his enemies, for the hardest victory is over self. Nature does nothing in vain. Courage is the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees the others. The energy of the mind is the essence of life. Hope is a waking dream. The aim of the wise is not to secure pleasure, but to avoid pain. The state comes into existence for the sake of life and continues to exist for the sake of good life. Youth is easily deceived because it is quick to hope. Education is an ornament in prosperity and a refuge in adversity. Wishing to be friends is quick work, but friendship is a slow ripening fruit. Without friends, no one would choose to live, though he had all other goods. It is best to rise from life, as from a banquet, neither thirsty nor drunken. We must no more ask whether the soul and body are one than ask whether the wax and the figure impressed on it are one. Democracy is when the indigent, and not the men of property, are the rulers. The soul never thinks without a picture. In a democracy, the poor will have more power than the rich because there are more of them, and the will of the majority is supreme. Character may almost be called the most effective means of persuasion. The secret to humor is surprise. Probable impossibilities are to be preferred to improbable possibilities. Wit is educated insolence. Both oligarch and tyrant mistrust the people and therefore deprive them of their arms. Plato is dear to me, but dearer still is truth. The greatest virtues are those which are most useful to other persons. The virtue of justice consists in moderation, as regulated by wisdom. A great city is not to be confounded with a populous one. Man is by nature a political animal. All paid jobs absorb and degrade the mind. Men create gods after their own image, not only with regard to their form, but with regard to their mode of life. Inferiors revolt in order that they may be equal, and equals that they may be superior. Such is the state of mind which creates revolutions. If one way be better than another, that you may be sure is nature's way. Perfect friendship is the friendship of men who are good and alike in excellence, for these wish well alike to each other qua good, and they are good in themselves. There was never a genius without a tincture of madness. The least initial deviation from the truth is multiplied later 1,000-fold. Poetry is finer and more philosophical than history, for poetry expresses the universal and history only the particular. No one would choose a friendless existence on condition of having all the other things in the world. Of all the varieties of virtues, liberalism is the most beloved. Law is mind without reason. Bad men are full of repentance. Therefore, the good of man must be the end of the science of politics. Suffering becomes beautiful when anyone bears great calamities with cheerfulness, not through insensibility, but through greatness of mind. All human actions have one or more of these 7 causes: chance, nature, compulsions, habit, reason, passion, desire,